All right, all right. Welcome back to another post-game pod on the Behind the Back podcast. My name is Marcos Conan Negron, and this is the Week 3 edition for the Philadelphia Eagles, where they are coming off of a victory at home, 33-26 against the Los Angeles Rams. Guys, what a game! This was there's a lot to unpack here. There was a lot of things to take from this game, a lot of learning experiences for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think that number one, the most important thing, we're 3-0, and halfway through this game, that was not looking like that was going to be the case. There was a point in this game where the Eagles were down 26-7 and scored 19 unanswered points in order to seal the deal. And I'll talk about how that finished in a little bit, but I want to talk about the beginning of this game because it really was a tale of two halves for these teams, right? So we start the game off with a saquon interception on the second play of the game, first throw of the game for Matt Stafford. Eagles go down, and what do you know? They ran two tush pushes right out of the gate. No flags called, even though you probably missed some calls there, but no flags called. They run the tush push, score a touchdown. We're up 7-0. I'm like, oh, okay. It's looking like it's going to be a good day. And then the Rams offense really started to pick things up. Matt Stafford finished today 19 of 33, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that 1 interception that I just mentioned. Kyren Williams, he had a good game. Him and Blake Corum did a really good job running the ball today. They were doing a good job running the ball today. Kyren finishes with 20 carries, 94 yards, 4.7 a carry. Blake Corum, 8 carries, 53 yards, and 6.6 yards a carry. He did have a big run towards the end of the game there, but overall, the Rams really tried, and they were successful on first and second down. They were pushing the pile, but on third down, they went 3 of 10. And there was a few missed throws, a few missed opportunities, and then they went 0 for 1 on that fourth down late in the fourth quarter. That gave the Eagles another opportunity to try and come back. They didn't convert on that one. They got the next one, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But overall, the offense started off hot, got the 7-0, and then the Rams started cooking, and the Rams started scoring, and all of a sudden, this offense got stagnant. And I think if we're talking about, I think the main story coming out of this offense now is I don't know about our run game right now. The way teams are playing Saquon Barkley, I mean, Saquon only finished here with 18 carries, 46 yards, 2.6 yards a carry. I think this is part of the discussion that everyone talks about. Yes, he had a 2,000-yard season, but it is really hard to repeat those kind of seasons. And I think this is a huge reason why. The Eagles played it felt like extremely conservative in that first half. They took a few sacks. Lane Johnson got hurt early in this game, and they replaced him with Matt Pryor, who then got replaced by Fred Johnson in the second half. And the Rams were getting pressure, missed blocks, whether it was Saquon or someone was able to get off the edge. Jalen Hurts was getting pressured, and it definitely led to some bad spots. But I think not only just the issues with the run game, but a real nuisance in this game, a real thing that you just don't see that often, especially now teams are still trying to figure out this new kickoff rule. But the Rams, I think they figured out how to execute getting great field position for your defense when you're kicking off after a score. Every time they kicked off, the kicker, Cardi, I believe is his last name, he was just line driving kicks in the landing zone, and Tank Bigsby and John Mechie couldn't handle it. It was like knuckleballs out there. So the Eagles' average starting position, they said it was the 28-yard line. That was a little bit because of the turnover and that they got early on and stuff. But they had several drives that were inside the 15-yard line, on their own 15-yard line to start. And that was a bad spot. The Eagles were having to they were having to play in some congested, long fields all game long, and it definitely made things difficult. And going into halftime, Jalen Hurts had like 20 total yards. This offense had -2 passing yards and 30 rushing yards. Like, we were shut out, and it felt like the Eagles had no answer, and it was crazy. And I was thinking to myself, this is ridiculous. Like why, what are we not figuring out here? Because they're clearly stopping Saquon. So why are we playing so conservatively? Why not just rip it out to AJ and Devontae? And I feel like everyone was saying the same thing. And it almost felt like once the Eagles got down that much, and it was like, okay, it's time. Like, it's now or never. And it almost felt like the metaphorical shackles on Jalen Hurts just kind of fell off of him. and they're like, go win this game. Jalen Hurts, man, QB1. What a game. What a half. In the second half alone, he had finished with he had 226 yards, 21 of 32 completion, 3 touchdowns, no interception. He did have a fumble. He did lose a fumble off of a sack. He got drilled. Lost the ball. They ended up recovering it, and that was the possession that put the Rams up 26-7. So it was kind of after that, it was gut check time. And Jalen Hurts was amazing. And not just Jalen Hurts, it was A.J. Brown. 6 catches, 109 yards, and he kept first downs alive. Every time he touched the ball, I was like, this dude is the best. Like, this dude is unbelievable. So yeah, 6 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. This was an AJ game. AJ Brown game offensively. Him and Devontae Smith, 8 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Really shouldered the load. Dallas Goedert got 1 catch, but it was a 33-yard bomb that put us down 26-14. That was the start of it. And you could see Jalen's excitement, like I can do this. Let me do this. It almost felt like that's what it felt like. And that whole second half, it was the same way. And A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, they were picking them off. Jalen was being decisive. He had some interesting throws. He had some floater throws. But he was decisive, and he led the team up and down the field. And he also had a tush-push touchdown. So 4 total touchdowns in this game for QB1 for Jalen Hurts. And it's like, in a game like this, where I think if the roles were switched and it was 26-7, if it was 26-7 Eagles over the Rams, people would be confident, oh, Stafford can sling that thing. I feel like everybody watching this game, when the Eagles were down 26-7, were like, I don't think Jalen Hurts has it. Not this guy. Now, I'll admit, I didn't like what I was seeing. The offense didn't look cohesive. I was like, there has to be an answer here. And then when AJ started catching balls, when Devontae started catching ball, when they were just slinging it, I was like, where has this been for the first for the first 11, 10 quarters of the season? Where has that been? Like, this has always been there. This is the Eagles offense that flies. This is what makes this Eagles offense go. If they can establish themselves through the air, it makes Saquon Barkley's job way easier. Right now, Saquon Barkley's job is incredibly hard because every team is just saying Saquon is not going to beat us. And the Rams did an amazing job. And now, I don't know how much of that is. Listen, the Rams defensive line did a really good job. The Rams defense played a really good game up until the second half, right? They were doing a great job generating pressure, took advantage of Lane Johnson's injury. They were creating issues for the Philly. But when it came down to it, the Eagles finally decided that it felt like, okay, we can't be conservative anymore. We have to go for it. And I just wish there was an element of like, this version needs to happen more often. And I know that this is the conversation around the Eagles. But that's the thing of like, I wasn't worried about the offense because this part of this team exists. I'm just glad that I was nervous that it took this long, that it took us being down 26-7 to get there. But the fact that we were down 26-7 against a Rams team that everyone picked to win this game, that everyone believes is the contender, and the Eagles were able to, down 19 points at home, were able to surge back through offense and defense. The defense did a great job in the second half, containing Matt Stafford, getting pressure. Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams had a great game. And for all you guys who, say, oh, that A.J. Brown touchdown that he pushed off. I would say the cornerback flailed. He was trying to be dramatic and sell the call. You're not getting that call on A.J. Brown. Devontae Adams on his touchdown on Reed Blankenship, you could clearly see him pushing off to gain separation. That could have definitely been a pass interference, and Greg Olsen agreed. So I just think that ticky-tack, that's what they're going to do. So if anyone wants to complain about A.J. Brown, take a look at the Devontae play. It's literally the same thing. So I don't want to hear it. The Eagles defense did a good job. Devontae Adams and Puka did what they did. Like, let's just pull up their stats here. Puka Nacua had 11 catches, 112 yards. Like, he was, especially at the end, he was getting fed a lot, and he was, making plays, and he got a critical taunting call that I don't think was really a taunt. He flexed and pointed, but they said it was Jahad Campbell was on the ground right in front of him, so that the refs thought that was what it was. I thought that was crazy. I was, obviously it helped the Eagles, but that's a bad call. But that was one of those moments where if that comes back, whatever. So the Eagles did a great job, and that game-winning drive was insane. The way they were able to move up and down the field, they converted on clutch plays. They needed to convert on third downs. They went 5 of 14, but they obviously got a couple of tush pushes in there as well to gain first downs. And not to mention in the red zone, the Eagles are 7-7 in the red zone this year for touchdowns, not field goals, for touchdowns. They have yet to not score a touchdown when they get in the red zone. That's really impressive because last year that was kind of a struggle at times. It was like, oh, we're getting up and down the field. Sometimes we're only able to finish on a tush push, but we did have to settle for field goals quite a bit. That's not the case so far this year. So the Eagles' red zone offense is efficient, and they figured something out. And, the Rams missed opportunities in this game. Like, the Rams had a great lead, but they also had to settle for field goals early. And that was a talking point. Like, man, if they had just converted on those touchdowns, they had a touchdown that got taken back from a holding penalty that they had to settle for a field goal. And early on, they were moving up and down the field. And the defense made a couple good plays on third and fourth and put them just far enough to where they had to kick another field goal. So that could have been the difference in this game too. So it was touch and go. And when we talk about, so the special teams, that kickoff stuff was really affecting the Eagles. They had no answer. So I don't know how, and that was a great strategy by the Rams. I think if you're the league, like if you're teams around the league trying to figure out the best way to execute it, I understand that the risk of, like, if you're going to throw a knuckle or hit a knuckleball, where there's a chance where the ball can go out of bounds and then it goes to the 40. I know teams don't want to risk that, but the Rams guy, he has that down pat. Like, the way he was doing it was going through our guys' hands. Like, they could not for the life of them figure out how to handle that ball off the kickoff. And I think that for the rest of the league, I think that's a great strategy to use. So, shout out to the Rams. They had great moments in this game. But the Eagles did what they did best, man. They just step up. This team, the ability to adjust is just so underappreciated in this league, where you have guys who can respond. You have a team that has been through so much adversity, and you say, wait, they won 19 of their past 20 games. How have they faced adversity? They've had to win in so many different ways, and they've had to. This was, man, nothing's going offensively. Jalen, it's time. Defense, make a play. And not only was it defense that made plays, it was our defensive special teams with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. There was this I want to say, let me see what we got here for Joshua Carty. Joshua Carty went 4 of 6. So we had 6 field goal attempts in this game. And he hit a 51-yarder, and he was hitting kicks all over the place. But it was his last 2 kicks that told the story of this game, with a chance to add some points to the board, to make it 29. I think it was 29-21, to make it 29-21 at the time. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter blocked the kick. And we're like, okay, great. We're in this now. Let's go. Obviously, the Eagles don't convert on the next one. And then they make a couple big plays, and they get that game, they get that drive to take the lead. So now we're up 27-26. And I want to say it was a minute and a half to go. And the Rams had a chance to go up, up the field and set up their field goal kicker, who's been doing a great job today, to win the game. And the Rams did just that. They were able to get the ball to around the 30-ish yard line. They were able to move the ball. They were able to get those crucial plays, and it sucked. Like, I was like, oh man, well, I was thinking to myself going into this, I was like, well, this is a good game. This was a great game. The Eagles offense left the field with the lead. They did what they could. Obviously didn't convert that 2-point conversion to make it 29-26. So we have to settle for 27-26. And if they make this, it's 29-27. It was a close game. We almost won a hard fought comeback. And then they line up for the kick, and Jordan Davis blocks it again. Takes it back to the house for 6 with time expiring, and the Eagles win this game 33-26. This was, by all intents and purposes, the Jordan Davis game. This was the game that we've been kind of as a fan base waiting for. He had a sack, he had an assisted tackle in this one too, and then he had the 2 block field goal kicks. And that's the difference in this game. That was the difference. And not to mention, he also, Matt Stafford was trying to get a first down on a third down. and Jordan Davis is running alongside him and chasing him down. Now, I get it. It's Matt Stafford. He doesn't have the greatest wheels, but that was a play that required Jordan Davis to give his all, and he did that, and he was able to do such a great job today. So our defensive line, albeit struggled against the run, did a great job of kind of getting in Stafford's way. Stafford played a great game. Like, he was making very difficult throws. He was under duress, and he was doing a great job, all things considered. But, my quarterback did just a little bit better, a little bit more efficient in this game, I would say. But overall, this was a good game. This was a game that, I want to say this is going to be the game that wakes up this Eagles offense. This is the game that everyone was looking for. This is kind of the game that we answered a lot of questions on, I think, to ourselves, as for the Eagles, for themselves. I think this was a gut check moment. Look yourself in the mirror, like Devontae Smith said after the game at halftime. It was a, look yourself in the mirror type moment, get better, be better. That everyone had that mindset. Nobody gave up in this locker room. So the Eagles were just tougher. They were just mentally tougher. They know how to bounce back. They know how to adjust. And defensively, they did a great job. I know that the Rams had 350 total yards on them, but the second half felt totally different. The second half felt like the Eagles were in control. Obviously, the Rams didn't score at all after they hit 26. So it was the Eagles did a really good job making big plays when it mattered on both sides of the ball. They did a great job of just not giving up. And the Eagles are now 3-0, and the Rams go home 2-1. And this was a game that the Rams wanted more. Hey. What's up? Hey, guys, welcome back. This is Ben joining the post-game pod. But that, this game, I think, was a great representation of the Eagles, just not giving up. And you can't count this team out. You have to play perfect. The Rams had an interception, the Eagles had a fumble, so you don't win the turnover battle either if you're the Rams, and that's just such a crucial piece. And the Eagles offense did a really good job towards the end of the game. Jalen did a really good job of just being decisive and not taking that pressure, because in the first half, he didn't see a few. He got decked quite a bit a couple times in those games. He took some hard hits, and for him to recover and adjust in the second half, and them having answers when they were trying to blitz, the blitz wasn't getting there, and AJ and Devontae are winning one-on-one. That's how this Eagles offense wins. And the Rams defense was playing into what the Eagles wanted to do, and in the second half, because obviously they did a great job stopping the run. And even after the fact, when the pass game was going, Saquon broke off a couple decent ones. He had one 10-plus yard run in this game, but it was a bit of a struggle for him. So I think there's going to have to be ways in the future for the Eagles too. This is the sign. I think this was the sign for the Eagles. Hey, let's lean into the pass game a little bit more. Let's let Hurts be in control. Let's let him take his chances with these weapons. He'll make the decision. He'll make the right choice. He's made the right choice so far this year, guys. He hasn't thrown a pick. He's done a great job. I'm just tired of this. I just want everyone to shut up about my quarterback, who people don't think could win the game this way when he's done it so many times now. He is winning 80% of the games that he starts since 2022. Since 2022, he's 40-10. So I just don't know. I don't know what more you guys need to see from Philadelphia. For the defensive side, there's plenty of work to be done. But I've liked what I've seen. Adoree Jackson, I thought he had a solid game. I thought that, that was going to be a big point where they're going to target. Quinyon Mitchell shadowed Devontae Adams for over 60% of his routes in this game. That's the most that Quinyon has ever shadowed a receiver. And Devontae on Quinyon went 2 catches for 12 yards. Obviously, Devontae had that big catch over Reed Blankenship. That was a penalty, but it doesn't matter. And he almost had another one, but Reed made a great play in the fourth quarter to prevent another touchdown. And the Rams were kind of doing what they wanted a little bit at times, right? They felt balanced. It felt like a great attack for the Rams. But when it came down to third down, fourth down, or gotta have it plays, they didn't have it. And the Eagles did. And that's the case. That's what's going to happen this year. That's what's going to happen. This is what's been happening for the Eagles. We win. That's the result. And we don't know how. Sometimes you don't know how. Sometimes it takes a blocked kick. Sometimes it takes Jalen Hurts popping off. Sometimes it takes Saquon popping off. The Eagles have so many options. You cannot count this team out. We are going to lose a game at some point this season. I mean, I think we've we've gone basically a full regular season's worth of games now with the Eagles winning, with the result being an Eagles win. It's unprecedented. It's been quite like this is a really great stretch of football for Philadelphia, and a lot of these games haven't been that great. A lot of these games have taken some time. This was a great game for the Eagles. They're 3-0. They did a good job. I'm pretty sure the Commanders won, so they're still hanging on there. The Cowboys lost to the Bears in pretty embarrassing fashion, and when the Giants play the Chiefs later tonight. So this was a great, exciting day. Obviously, you love winning the way that we did there. This is, shout out to all the guys who played really hard in this game and not giving up. That's on coaching too. These guys adjusted and had answers, and they figured it out. So let's all right, enough rambling. Let's go hand out these game balls and get out of here and celebrate this win. So on the offensive side, who else? Jay Hurts, baby. Him and AJ, him and Devontae. They are all the MVPs of the offense today. They did such a great job, carried the load in that second half, and just responded. Like, they woke up. This team woke up offensively, and had to be those three guys leading the charge. Obviously, you got to give Goddard credit for getting that tutty. That was great for him, too. That set the tone. But A.J. Brown made so many cool plays in this game. Just saying he looks so over it, like, I am the best guy here. And there was plenty of those moments. Devontae was just consistent, made every catch that came his way, and it was awesome. So MVPs there. Defensively, Jordan Davis. It's the Jordan Davis game. This is going to be the game that's remembered as the Jordan Davis game with 2 blocked field goals. Back-to-back, I might add. And one of them was the game-sealing one that he got to run back for a touchdown. Like, it's just an awesome moment for him. He has been, since we've drafted him, he has not lived up to the expectations of a first-round pick, a top 15 pick. But this year, the Eagles paid him money. They kept him on a 1 year. And he has responded by losing weight, playing hard, and now he's making plays week after week now. He's shown up in the box score every single game this year. And this seems like his ascension is real. And this is a great moment for him, a great moment for the defense, who played really well. And they faced some challenges in this game. They faced some challenges, and they did a really good job. So shout out to the Eagles. We move on to Tampa Bay, who also snuck away with a victory against the Jets. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, we're going to talk about it during the week. They've been a bugaboo. They've been a great matchup for the Eagles in the past few years. And we go to Tampa Bay. We haven't played a game against them in Philadelphia in forever. Every matchup seems to be in Tampa Bay. They love us there, I guess. So we look forward to that, and Ben and I will definitely talk about it more. And speaking of Ben and the 49ers, the Niners, Eddie Pinheiro hits a game winner. Benny's going to talk about it, I know. But, that's huge for the Niners. That's great. We're both of our guys are 3-0. That's great for the podcast. That's what we want to see. That's how our teams do it. So far, great start to the year, guys. This is what we're hoping for. So, stay tuned. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about this week, and see if both teams can keep building. Matchups are only going to get more difficult. This was a great test early on, and now we get the Bucs, who are going to be one of the teams in the NFC that we're going to have to deal with. So we'll see how that works moving forward next week, and what the plan is and what the injury report's going to look like. Obviously, you don't want to miss Lane Johnson, but Fred Johnson has been here before and stepped up admirably in his time replacing Lane and his time here last year. So there's familiarity. There has been games that we've missed without, Lane Johnson, and we have been able to power through. So I just, we're worried about him, but we'll see what happens with the injury report this week and who's going to be all missing. But Ben and I will touch on that soon. So guys, this was the post-game pod for week 3 of the Behind the Back podcast for the Philadelphia Eagles. And like I always say, I'm Marcos Conan Negron, guys. If you guys want to hit us up, you can hit us up at behindthebackpod13@gmail.com. All of our social media links are going to be down in the description below. Please give us a like, subscribe, rate, review, and follow the show. For all you Eagles fans out there, how pumped are you after this win? This was a really, really, really good win. This is going to be a win that people are going to be like, oh, well, the Eagles did this, or, oh, tush push, they're still not getting the calls. That screwed the Rams. Well, the Rams lost. They lost. Eagles win. You can complain all you want about this team, and maybe the Rams did a great job. Yeah, they did a great job until they didn't, until they lost. So the Eagles are the winners, just like it has been for quite some time now. So let's see if they can keep it up. Let's see if they can. we're going to keep getting tested throughout the year. So I'm really excited for that. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you during the week. I'm so pumped up. I'm on cloud nine after this kind of win. That was so unexpected at the end. Definitely the result you want to get. So with that being said, y'all, I will talk to you during the week. Peace. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby.